Not too
I
bad.
think we could probably get started here.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for coming by.
Yeah. Mhm.
I'm Jack Hessey, the Director of Marketing here at YourStake, and Robin Wood is going to be the star of the show today. From all the emails you gotten from me, right? This is, YourStake does what? This will save me hours. We've really expanded our offering here in the last, almost 2 years, expanding from our original base of values-based investing tools into portfolio analytics, investment proposal generation. We recently launched the AI note taker a few months ago, and user adoption has been great for that. And so, thank you everyone for your fast feedback to make it as great of an experience as it can be. And Robin will kind of take you through, those two solutions and something kind of brand new that we're building out. That's kind of like a document intelligence assistant, as well as something we're calling the dossier. So should be super, super exciting and helpful. Please stop us at any point to ask questions, whether you want to unmute yourself. You can do the raise your hand function and we can get to you, or feel free to, put anything in the chat at any time. We want this to be helpful, effective, efficient. And thank you to everyone that preceded questions as you registered. I know Robin has a plan to kind of hit most of them as she goes through this, but anything
Mhm.
you want explicitly answered, please add in. Robin, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Excellent. Thanks so much, Jack. Hi, everyone. Like Jack mentioned, we appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us. We want to take you through these, newest features, uh, our newest sort of AI enhanced features that we've come out with um, recently, as well as answer the questions that you've got. I'm hoping to take you through a little bit of a journey through these tools that we have created that we're helping or we're hoping to help you turn some of that client chaos, be it statements that you get from them, having meetings with them, getting information from various places, you know, as tax season is quickly approaching us, or maybe we're in the thick of it now, all the different tax documents that you're getting, maybe trust documents, really taking, some of that, some of a lot of those documents and a lot of that data and really turning it into organized intelligence that you can use and efficiently use to move, sort of advance your relationship, make it stronger with that end client, and free up more of your time so that you can be in front of those clients, those prospects, talking with them and helping them along their journey, doing really what you do best, while allowing technology to help out with, again, that sort of chaos that comes with what you all do. So with that, just kind of setting the agenda real quickly, I'm going to take you through our advisor core, kind of our flagship AI enhanced feature that we came out with a couple years ago. And we'll go through that. I'm going to highlight the newest features or the newest analytics that we've added within that, as well as showing you a tour through our meeting assistant or AI note taker. And then, as Jack mentioned, we'll sort of wrap things up with a quick view of what we've been working on here and hope to come out with very soon or be releasing very soon. So, without further ado, I'm going to share my screen and I'm taking a moment here. Again, I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces and a lot of new faces. So, really great mix, as Jack mentioned. Ask questions when you've got them. We've got the chat open, so you can kind of type those in there. Jack's going to be helping answer the questions as they come in. And if I see them, I'll try and, answer them while I'm talking too. We had some really great questions and comments submitted for this. So I'm going to try and incorporate those through the walkthrough of the features. So, as a lot of you are familiar with, we've got our Going to get the Zoom screen kind of up here. We're going to go through our advisor core and note taker features and spend the time there. We've also got, some other little nuggets to share as we go through this. But for those of you that are current YourStake users, this is very familiar landing home page. So for the advisor core feature, really great for, you've got a new prospect. They have given you their statements, maybe one's from LPL, one's from Fidelity, one's from Schwab. And I'd like to get sort of a view of what I'm working with here. What do they currently have? I want to analyze their overall portfolio, see what I'm working with. So what we created, again, this is kind of the flagship of document extraction, where I can upload a statement or multiple statements. So if you're new to Advisor Core, I'm on a Mac. So if I want to upload multiple statements, I can just grab them, right? Or you can upload one at a time, then grab another one. For the analytics, that's what the analytics will be on everything that you've uploaded here once I run the analysis. So it really just depends. If you want to do everything up front, the whole portfolio, all those different accounts, you certainly can. And then come back and say, now I just want to look at the taxable account, or I just want to look at the raw. And that sort of thing. So you don't have to re-upload those statements because we create a portfolio for each statement that you upload. And then, of course, if it's multiple statements, we're creating a combined one. So you can always recall those when you need to. And right now, you can see the status of what's going on. So we do go through a series of validation checks as we're extracting all of the data, making sure that we're pulling off all of the holdings and they're matching up to summary page totals, account page totals. So you can be confident that we've got all of the securities off that statement for the analytics. So within sort of the application, we have the holdings page, so we can take a look at everything here. We've got the total. If there were multiple accounts, they'd be listed, on here with their separate totals. But for today's purpose, I'm just doing the one. We'll look at another analytics that I kind of ran ahead of time just so we can show those. But I like to show the actual process of a statement being uploaded. And then you also get a download of those holdings. So if for some reason I need to take these holdings and upload them into my trading software, or send them to my CRM, wherever they need to go, an Excel file is a little bit easier file to work with, more manageable. So you've got this. It's got all of the information on here that we've extracted from the statement, plus these the fee column here is actually the fund expense ratios. So we provide those as well, and we're pulling those fund expense ratios in directly from SEC filings. So just kind of the basics of uploading statements. And then what I'd like to do is go into showing you some of these newest features. So we got a lot of demand from folks about the conversations that they're having with their clients and prospects about the location of their assets. We're looking at the overall portfolio picture and managing it from, that maybe risk tolerance level, or we want to allocate everything looking at the total portfolio. So what I've done is I've uploaded 3 different types of accounts, and I want to do the analytics all at once, but then I also want to see, where are these assets sitting? Should I be making any changes, suggesting, hey, I'm seeing certain things in here. So we're going to get to the asset location as well as tax transition here in just a second. Just kind of want to go through real quickly the analytics that we've had in here for some time. The overview analytics, sometimes this does get passed up, but it's a great table of just data. So it's going to show you, just the numbers, and you can export that into a CSV file if you need that for some reason. The risk analytics, we're showing the overall risk of the two portfolios. So what I uploaded compared to what I'm proposing that the prospect should maybe have, or that I would, my proposal for them. So I can click on here and see the risk scores of the individual companies or funds that are in this portfolio. I can look at mine as well. So just wanted to take a quick second to highlight some of these things. Though the graphics are really nice to see, you can get more detail, more information by just clicking into and seeing this. If you need to download this data table, maybe I want to talk to this prospect or this client specifically about the international exposure of their portfolio and what is that comprised of, or the US stocks. I can just click on that, download the table. So the returns. So the default is the nice little line chart that we're all familiar with. You can also change that into a bar chart. And when you change that to a bar chart, you can click on one of those bars to get a further detail. So we're looking at the trailing returns of this portfolio of, I clicked on 3 years, but I can see that those returns for each of the holdings within the portfolio. Same thing with trailing volatility. Just have to click on one of the bars to get the additional detail. Risk return, kind of scatter plot graph. Market cap breakdown. Where's my mega cap exposure coming from in either of the portfolios? Style category breakdowns, equity sector breakdowns. And some of you have probably noticed this, but we did add in the actual numbers, the percentages of each sector down here in kind of an additional little table. We felt that it was pretty easy to look at these, get those numbers and a nice graphic all on that same page. Concentration breakdown, this is showing us the top 10 holdings. If for some reason I wanted to see every single company that's in this portfolio, I know that these accounts had a lot of funds in them, I can just download the full holdings list. Really nice data table that's going to show me every single company in the portfolio and the fund that it belongs to, or funds that it belongs to. So it's a ton of information that sometimes gets a little too busy and something you might want to share with a client, but you always have access to it. The fees, these are the expense ratios between the two portfolios over 20 years. You can add in your advisory or management fees. We have put this on here, just text boxes, so you can put the numbers in. Maybe that is this prospect came to me and their advisor was charging them 95 basis points. I might be charging them 85 basis points. Whoops. So we can just enter those numbers, update the chart, and then those advisory fees plus the average expense ratios of the two portfolios are now reflected in the fee analytics. Statistics page, this is really new. Jack, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is maybe 2 weeks out. So we wanted to make sure we gave folks some additional kind of basic details of the portfolio. And we can take any of these off. So maybe I want to show some of these statistics or include them in the report that I generate to my prospect or my client, but I might not want to talk about performance metrics. I may not want to talk about the standard whatever it may be. I can just remove that section or one by one. And then this is left with what I will then share with my client that's in the report. Asset location. So This is kind of the one of the stars, the new stars of our advisor core features. So we're looking at where are these securities held. And I can see that in my tax-free account, I've got a lot of taxable bonds. Now, that may be because this account was being managed on its own at a particular risk level, and the other accounts were being managed elsewhere at a particular risk level. Well, now I want to manage everything, and I can see that we've got some taxable bonds in our tax-free account. I might suggest let's make some adjustments there so we're getting the most out of our, tax-free accounts or our tax-deferred accounts while maybe limiting the growth in our taxable accounts. So down here is what I'm sort of recommending for the allocation. And here's really kind of the principal box that I've looked at. So we're seeing some high growth or high growth assets might make the most sense in tax-free accounts when available. I see I've got a tax-free account here. So we may, make some suggestions. Also, this table is completely editable. So you can remove any of these sort of default, YourStake default principles, or you can change them, however you see fit. And then that new table will be what shows up in the report. So I may want to take off, just show maybe this top one in the actual report with the client. Tax transition. We're looking at these accounts. Where do we have cost basis information? And if we want to make a transition, let's give folks a view of a few situations or a few outcomes of transitioning from what the prospect currently owns into my destination or proposed portfolio. So we know there's a taxable account in there, and overall the portfolio size of those taxable holdings, 5.3 million. So to achieve a zero tax cost today, I can transition about almost 45% of the portfolio into my proposed portfolio. If I am, ripping the bandage off, we just want to do the full transition, that tax cost is going to be 99,000. Now that's not just the unrealized gains. What we're doing is we're looking at the cost basis from those statements and then applying a long-term capital gain rate of 20%, short-term capital gain rate of 38%. And you can adjust those. Those are adjustable. We do have to make some assumptions if there are no purchase dates on the statement that was uploaded, or I didn't enter the purchase date information. So by default, we just assume all gains and losses are long-term. So in this scenario here, we're saying that all of those unrealized gains in the account are long-term because I didn't have corresponding purchase dates. So what's really neat here, I think, and this is, maybe the star of this particular feature, is I can adjust this tax budget. So $5.3 million account, this client may be okay with maybe 35,000 initially for a tax cost to transition from what they currently have to what I'm proposing. And with that, we can now transition almost 73% of the portfolio. It's going to take over 2 years, about 3 years, if we go at this same rate. And our tracking error between those two portfolios gets under 1%. And I can download the trades. So we're going to show you for each scenario, here are the securities that the dollar amounts of the securities to sell. And then, of course, what securities and the dollar amount to buy into. So let me grab that file so we can take a look at that. Super tiny on my screen here. Sorry, folks. Make this a little bit bigger. Minimal taxes. So over here is kind of where the details are. The starting amount in the current portfolio. What are those unrealized gains or losses? How much of what security should I be selling? And then, of course, down at the bottom, let's use those proceeds and buy into which securities. Can we go? We have that for the minimal tax, the gradual budget, and then of course the full transition is going to be sell out everything, buy into, what you need to. So this file is yours to do what you need to, further with. But we got a lot of feedback and requests for this. Just mentioning, hey, it'd be great to have sort of a quick look at what this tax, if it's taxable account, what the transition to a new portfolio or my proposed portfolio would look like. And then can we also show the specific securities that we should be selling and then subsequently buying into? So from here, just want to quickly show here the settings page. So this settings page will allow you to change your colors. So we'll see where these colors show up on my report, but you can change them so it's more of your branding colors. And then of course, these are all of the analytics. And when I turn these off, that just means whenever I export or generate a report, these will not show until, or these will not be included until I change this and save my new settings. So this is really a setting for what analytics do I want to include in the report. And then we also have a few other things where you can change, names or labels throughout this application and on the report. So if I want to change account registration or account tax status to something that is maybe more of what I might talk about in conversation with my clients or prospects, I can certainly, change that. Maybe it's account type or something. And instead of fees, maybe it's all in fees or just expense ratios if I'm not going to incorporate the advisory or management fees. So you just have that ability to make those changes. And then from here, generating the presentation. What we're familiar with here is the PowerPoint file type that comes out. I chose to have all of the analytics in here. If for some reason I don't want to talk to this prospect about returns, I can just get rid of it at this point. In volatility, don't want to talk to them, don't want to talk about risk and return, but I do want to talk about the other fundamentals of the portfolio. So I'm going to leave all of these in. And maybe the statistics page, maybe that ended up being a little too much. So let me go ahead and get rid of that. Tax transition page shows up on there. Looks slightly different in here than it does within the application. And then if I want to change the file type, maybe I don't want to share a PowerPoint, I can easily convert this into a PDF. Simple export. I'm on a Mac, so the keystrokes might be just slightly different, but I'm exporting this into a PDF, and then maybe that I can share with my end client. So I think with that, kind of a nice quick overview of what the analytics in Advisor Core will show you. And if you may have not noticed here on, when I came in here, we've had this for some time, but if I want to add in a benchmark, I can certainly do that at this time. Maybe that is something that I've created in the past, or I want to create a benchmark on the fly. And that's just going to be 100% ACWI. And so in here, I'm just grabbing those ticker symbols entering my weight, and then I can submit that. This is a new portfolio. I can always recall it later. Rerunning the analytics, I will now have three portfolio analytics. So we've got what they currently have, standard basic benchmark, and then my proposal once these analytics finish. So moving on to our meeting note taker. So our meeting note taker here, we created just from the demand of, and I just uploaded before this meeting, some meetings that I had recorded in the past and uploaded them, which you can do. And I'm going to go over that here. But we came out with our meeting note taker as part of, again, kind of our effort to turn sort of a lot of data, unstructured data, into organized intelligence. So I'm getting data points from conversations in the meetings that I'm having, and I want to incorporate that into, the bigger picture, the broader picture of what my client has. They've given me their statements. So I want to use that for my portfolio analytics, yet another data point. And so the note taker is a component of our features for really turning a lot of data and information, structuring it and organizing it intelligently. So for the meeting note taker, I know we had some questions on who all do we integrate with? Who are the CRMs? Who do we integrate with? So from our homepage here, we've got our integrations, and this is where I might spend a little bit more time to kind of show you the places of where stuff is. So bear with me if you've been using this for some time and this is like old news. I want to be mindful of the mixture of folks that we have on this call, so I can just kind of show some of these little places. So we integrate with, I'm using Zoom, where we use Zoom here, but of course we have Teams that our meeting note taker can join, Teams meetings and Google Meet. We integrate with Wealthbox, Redtail, and Salesforce. There are additional CRMs out there that we are working with to expand this list. We found when we started surveying our clients and our peers, who are the CRMs that most folks are using. That's where we started. So that's why we've got Redtail, Wealthbox, and Salesforce currently. Like I said, we're going to have some additional ones added. And Jack's been phenomenal with keeping folks up to date with when we add additional features or new integrations and things like that. You can integrate your calendar as well. So I've got my Google Calendar integrated. You can also, Outlook is there as well. Kind of same steps to where you'll integrate with the meeting bots. And this is where we'll kind of go into some settings for your meeting agent, kind of the basics of your meeting assistant, your note taker. So what we really like about having an AI meeting note taker is in the meeting, on the call, it's absorbing all of the information that we're sharing, what we're talking about, and it's analyzing it. And then after we end the call, we're going to get a summary of what that meeting was, follow-up tasks, some highlights, follow-up email. So what this does is it just saves you an incredible amount of time. On here, from the meetings that I've had, these were a mixture of 10, 15-minute meetings, 2-hour long meetings, 30-minute meetings. I've saved a lot of time just in keying in my handwritten notes that I took while I was on the meeting and drafting a follow-up email or creating tasks to assign myself or other team members. So in here, this is where I can say, I want my meeting agent to join my meetings that I have on my calendar, on my Outlook calendar, on my Google calendar. And I want my meeting agent or meeting bot to join only the meetings that I'm the host of, or all meetings that are on my calendar. Meaning, if Jack was to invite me to one of his Zoom meetings or his Google Meet meetings, I'm going to be a participant, and my meeting agent is going to trail me like another participant automatically. So I like to have mine set up as just the meetings that I join that I'm the host of, because I have the option of inviting the my meeting bot to any other meeting, even one that I'm hosting. It may be something that wasn't on my calendar. One of my clients called me up and said, could you meet me for a quick Zoom call? I'm, trying to get logged into my dashboard on Schwab or Orion or something. So I might just send out a Zoom meeting link. I can copy that same meeting link in here and then invite the bot. It comes into my waiting room, or whoever's meeting that I'm joining, their waiting room, if they have a waiting room turned on. These are Zoom kind of settings, but it comes onto the meeting like a participant. We have ours on this call recording, so that is one of our meeting agents. So this one, again, I already have my calendar integrated. So if you wanted to enable things, we kind of come in here. And if I am having an in-person meeting or a phone call meeting, I can just record the audio. So this would be how you would record your meeting so that you get that nice summary, all of the output that you would for a virtual meeting, but from audio. Sometimes you're not having a virtual meeting, it's in person or it's a phone call. So this is how you can start the recording there. So if it's a phone call, you might want to put them on speakerphone and say, hey, I'd like to record this call for my, for my note-taking purposes. And then you can just start the recording. So with the recordings, now what? What does it look like? So I've got a couple of examples pulled up here. So I'm going to go to Spud Webinar, and I've got Spud in my Wealthbox CRM. Of course, we've also got, Redtail and Salesforce, but Spud is in there. And I'm getting ready for a meeting with Spud. Maybe we had a quick phone call several weeks ago, and I'm preparing for my meeting. So what I can do here is pull in all the information that I may have entered. It's already in my CRM. So I can sync that from my CRM. I'm bringing in all of the information that I have on Spud Webinar from Wealthbox. It's coming in here. It's going to provide me for a really nice summary of, okay, nuts and bolts. What do we have on Spud from our last meeting, or the details that I entered into the CRM? What are some questions that I might want to ask this prospect in our next meeting? Do I have some details, a quick financial summary? Am I missing anything in here? So I may want to ask them, do you have some specific strategies for tax optimization? I know that's what we talked about, was being mindful of taxes while also achieving your financial goals and, philanthropic goals as well. Because we talked about philanthropy, I see that you've got some goals, anything you're most passionate about. So this is a great way to just get ready for a meeting. And especially if I've got a team, maybe I've got another advisor that I'm working with. They may have entered notes somewhere, had a call with this prospect, and we're sort of managing this together. So this is just a great way for me to get a quick view and then have that meeting with Spud. So this would be Spud and I are having a new meeting. And so I want to invite the meeting or invite the meeting agent if I didn't already have it, joining the meeting automatically. And now we're going to have our meeting. So this is where I'll transition just a little bit to let me grab another prospect here that I've already got some information for. We've already had our meetings. So kind of fast forward a little bit. We just had our meeting. I just ended the call, and now YourStake has given me some information. And we are giving you the summary, the follow-up tasks, and the follow-up email that's kind of geared towards a specific meeting type. So in this case, I have my meeting type sort of default set as to process as a discovery or intro meeting. I can change that to process this as just a regular client meeting or process this as an internal meeting. So you have a lot of different things. And the output is going to change up a little bit because we're going to be providing details that are more specific to that particular meeting type. So this one, again, already processed as that discovery call. So here are my takeaways from that initial meeting. What was the client? What did we discuss? We discussed a little bit of the client's background. We just touched on their financial situation, anything that we may want to prioritize, or challenges that may come up. Some key actions. Were there any decisions that one of us, either myself or the client or the prospect, was expected to make or mentioned on the call? Here's my to-dos. I have some to-dos, and my client Peanut does as well. And then kind of the full summary down here, broken down into personal details, preferences and goals, investment and retirement accounts. Again, this is a summary for a kind of advisor and client specific type of meeting. So we're seeing that type of information. And then the key information that was discussed, level of importance. I can change some of these, can look at the details from that. And then I have my tasks. So from this meeting, not only do we get a summary, but we get tasks. And I can send these to my CRM straight to my client because I've got them, connected here. And I can also, change the status of this. Maybe it's in progress. Maybe it's done already. I can edit the title. If I need to change this description a little bit, I certainly can. So we'll pretend I made some changes, save that. And I can do that for any of these. And then, so this is my clients at Wealthbox. Most of you probably only have one CRM, so you don't need to toggle between the two. But this one is with Wealthbox. So now I can sync those tasks. So these tasks went into Wealthbox. I can go in there and they will appear. I can push the general summary into Wealthbox as well. And then we're going to go into, again, I'm just using Wealthbox as today's, let me get logged in for today's purpose. So here's my tasks. And these were upcoming tasks. I can look at my completed tasks, but just from the home page, I can see where here's the things that just came in, right? So I had a note from Spud Webinar from earlier that I sent here. This one that I just sent just a few seconds ago. This was the full detail of it, and it's already being tied to my client in my CRM. So coming back here, you also get that follow-up email. You can copy this email, paste it into your email outbox and send it off to the client. You can also download the full transcript of the meeting should you need that for something. You can also download the recording of the video, download that file. Maybe I need to save it somewhere. So I have all of these options of kind of what I can do. So in summary, kind of what this meeting agent or meeting bot does is saves you a lot of time. It's going to join your meetings, take those notes while you're having the meeting, provide you a summary of what that meeting was about, and follow up items or tasks, and a follow up email. I don't know about the folks on this call, but I spend a lot of time on with follow up emails because each of my meetings is a little bit different. Each person that I'm having a conversation with, they're going to have, different things that they're talking to me about, and things that I need to follow up on. So having sort of this canned response is not feasible. So this is really great having that follow up email feature and the meeting prep. As I'm getting ready for my meeting, I know that I've had a call with Peanut Manning, who's one of my dogs, by the way. All of my dogs end up being prospects in here. Peanut is my oldest one. She's 18. So she kind of gets to be the star of this webinar. But Peanut and I had a lot of meetings. She's actually 18, but in here she's 24 years old. I should have put her, she's 18. I can actually put this down. But this is what we talked about previously. All of the notes and other things that I had in my CRM all coming together in here so I can get ready for my call that's coming up with her in 20 minutes. Just want to review this. Same thing with when I have my meeting with Spud Webinar. I know I've got a meeting coming up with them. So let me just quickly come to Spud over here, and I'm going to see what I've got for my previous details. Sorry about the Zoom screen moving around, folks. Okay, what did we talk about? Now I'm ready for my meeting with Spud. So we've had some really great feedback in from our clients, from our peers in developing, not just the note taker, but also advisor core, and continuing to develop it and add features that are needed by your feedback. So I think with this is where I'm going to sort of transition into what's coming, what's being released very soon. But at the end of the day, we really rely on your feedback, and the good, the bad, the ugly. We need it, right? So we value everyone's feedback, and what you can share with us helps. It really does help to shape and build what we end up, delivering for everyone. So with that, the things that we have been working on, additional document type uploads. We've been talking about this for a little while, but we extract from brokerage statements, from 401k statements. We extract that data really well. We provide nice analytics on that. We're expanding. So we're expanding to other document types. Same idea. We're going to look through what you've uploaded, extract the data, provide you a summary, and then also kind of fill in what Jack had mentioned on a dossier. So I've gone ahead and just uploaded, a couple things. I'm going to choose another. Let's just go with this 1095C. So I've uploaded a few documents. Because it is tax season, I have chosen just some older tax documents that I did share with my advisor and the CPA. Quick look at the ones that I've just uploaded. I can get a nice little summary just from this page. What is the 5498? What are the details from this specific one? Looks like 6,000 was contributed to a traditional IRA. From the 1098, the mortgage statement, how much an interest was paid that year and at what property. And then I can go and get additional details. So in here, this is where I can see more of the information. So this was a 1090, or excuse me, this was the 5498. So it's got all of my details on here. Um, what the fair market value was. I can get a, quick glance at the form itself. What did I upload? Same thing with these other documents. The mortgage interest. This is from an old property in Colorado Springs. But I can look through, the details on that one. And then what I've just uploaded here was a 1095C, get a quick overview of it. This was for my husband, but it gives me all the details here. And what I can do with this is I can copy it, I can save it, I can do whatever I need to, but all of that information that's on these documents, we're extracting. So we might as well make it, again, easy to use. What I want to use this information elsewhere. I don't want to have to type in the street address, the employer information or anything else elsewhere. Where can I put some of this information to work? So this is just a quick flash of information. So this is what, further sort of developing. And again, to be released soon is this dossier. We're going to take information from a lot of different places, all those different types of documents that I've uploaded, all of the statements, the brokerage statements that I uploaded, the meeting minutes. This information is coming from somewhere, so I'm capturing that. And then I'm going to put it to use and just fill in this information. From here, this will take a minute. Let's pretend that all of the information is filled in. This will take just a moment, but I can then take that data and start pre-filling account opening forms, transfer forms, things like that. And if you have DocuSign, you can connect to DocuSign and make that a nice, smooth transition. So, sort of taking a step back and bringing this all together is, our efforts have really been to turn that client data chaos, it's all over the place, it's coming from different sources and different things, and turning it into an organized intelligence source that you can then apply to many things like filling out account opening forms. So if you are interested in early access to our document upload, like additional documents, not just the statements, if you are interested in having early access to that, let us know. Reach out to me, send me an email, book a demo. Jack, I think maybe you've got I can stop sharing my screen here and I'll do that for a second. But reach out to me so that we can work with you, set up an onboarding, kind of walk you through this if you're interested in early access.
Yeah.
So with that, Jack, I have not paid attention to the chat box, but there may have been some questions that were asked there. Happy to answer those. I can even go back into sharing my screen as well, but wanted to give you a moment to any comments. I'm also going to grab a quick drink of water.
Of course, yeah. Thanks so much, Robin. So yeah, no questions yet in the chat. So please take this time to either unmute yourself or throw it in the chat box. As a preview as well, next week, our friends at First Affirmative are running a webinar. You'll see me back there. I'm seeing it on Wednesday at 1 o'clock, focused on their proxy voting and engagement efforts from the year. Caitlin Mitchell put together a great report, and we'll spend about 30 minutes going through it in depth. So a great opportunity to learn about the great work they're doing there. And if you're a VEDAS values aligned direct indexing user or even thinking about it, I highly recommend you go take a look. So I'll follow up with the registration link. Some people on this webinar will actually be getting an email later today with the report. So keep an eye out on your inbox for that. We're really excited for them. And then, yeah, so feel
Yeah.
free to scan the QR code as well. If you're interested in seeing, any of this more in depth, or, with, example data that you might have, or if you have, specific questions, please feel free to scan that. And we're getting some questions in here.
I
So
see
first
that.
one, client risk tolerance questionnaire.
Let me share my screen.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, Jack and Rob, it's Peter.
Hey, Peter.
I have
Hi, Peter.
Tiffin, like so many small advisors. I have way more. I have more than really. And Tiffin was great. They matched my color scheme, and then they went to this weird orange, but they and it, New Delhi colors I call it. But anyway, and I couldn't change it back. I'm looking to scale down. That it's a great tool. It's $150 a month.
Mhm.
And I just want something sort of customizable. That I can send out to clients. Get basic risk questionnaire, even game theory or not, and how many kids they got, how many accounts they have, do they have four? I have a form I could send them. It's called "Get Your Financial Life in Order," and it sort of lists
Mm.
phone numbers and contacts and organizing all on one page. But I was just wondering what tools
Mhm.
you guys have, and if it plugs into
Yeah.
Schwab after the fact, it could read the portfolio. I'm really different in the sense that I don't sort of rebalance to a model. I do a lot of different stuff. So anyway, enough of that.
Mhm.
I'll see what you
Yeah.
got. Thanks.
Peter, yeah, Peter, great question. Thank you for that. So we do have a risk tolerance questionnaire. On so from the YourStake site, you can get to it from a couple places. From people in portfolios, under your prospects, you have the questionnaires here. So
Oh yeah.
you can copy the link, paste it in another browser, paste it in your email, but I just had this pulled up and I got to turn this is the questionnaire. So it is web-based if you give them, the
Mm-hmm.
link. I like to just flash up this PDF so you can see a little bit more detail. What our risk tolerance questionnaire is evaluating is risk capacity and risk aversion with
Mm-hmm.
8 very straightforward questions. So they're going to take the questionnaire. Here are the questions. Sorry, also if the Zoom screen is in the way, I should
No,
just
it's good.
minimize that. Okay. Um, and then based upon their answers, we're going to do the scoring and of course the mapping, and they will end up, somewhere in this risk heat map, so to speak. And their risk score will sort of follow them. So Spud Webinar took my risk tolerance questionnaire,
Look at that.
and Spud is, whoops, sorry, I hit retake the results. So Spud is aggressive.
He's a risk-seeking missile. That dog.
He is. He's got a lot of time before he needs the money, and he's been investing for a while. So he's at the top of the list. What I can do in Advisor Core is I can also send a risk tolerance questionnaire here, send it to them from this page. I can select, they were aggressive or they were more aggressive, whatever it was. I can type in Spud webinar, and this will pre-fill. If they also have values, these pre-fill as well. So Spud took not only my risk tolerance questionnaire, they took they took a behavioral values, or they took a values questionnaire, and Spud landed on planet protector, health defender, friend of animals, fair player. For those of the folks on the call that may not be aware, we got our start in the financial tech service industry with values aligned screening reporting. And we have a lot of that data. So we still have it if someone, does have some values that they want to represent in their portfolios. We have other tools for that as well. But this particular client did. So anything attached to Spud has come and filled here, including their risk tolerance and then their values. So you have a couple places to take it, but Peter, this is it's not customizable at this time.
Okay. I was going to
Um,
ask if I
and
could
it
add a couple of
sounds,
questions, like how many children
yeah,
you have, and do you have any sick grandparents or something like that? I mean,
yep,
Gibson does a good job at that because
good
they take your
feedback.
zip code, and they're a lot of people have it, but theirs seem
Yeah,
pretty cool. But 5 years ago, I didn't know what a risk tolerance questionnaire was. Anything looked good, so cool.
yeah, yeah. Great, really good
Well, if we could
feedback
add a
too.
couple of text boxes and customize it, like that would be huge. I mean, even if they were just dead text boxes that the client, we could say, do you have any children, grandparents, sick people?
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
or do
absolutely.
you own any annuities or whatever? All those kind of questions that are extraneous to
Yeah,
stocks and bonds and buying and, loss or gain. Thanks.
That's
yeah,
super
of
helpful.
course.
I
Really,
think
yeah,
one
super helpful, great feedback. Hmm.
one thing to add, and this is kind of a workaround, but bear with us, is if
Yeah,
you had like a usual checklist maybe for prospect conversations, if you use the meeting note taker and ask the
yeah.
same, 5 to 10
Hmm.
questions, that data is collected, stored, and organized in that pre-meeting and often post-meeting summary.
That's a great
Um,
idea, Jack. And my
Yeah.
associate of mine, who also has my name, I asked him to join this conference. That's what he does. He walks people
awesome.
through the questionnaire in a call on a Zoom, because he
Yeah.
said, I send it to him and it goes in their inbox and it never goes anywhere. They never do it
Yeah.
themselves. I get them on the phone. I read them the questions. I'll send them the form before the meeting so they know what the
Mhm.
questions are, but I will write down the answers for them. And
Mhm.
right, Johnny? Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Jack,
so that's a
thank
solution that I think is a real world.
Only
Um,
way.
yeah.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah, that's great. Jack, thank you for that. I was gonna go there too. So for the minds are we're on the
We've
same
worked together
level,
too
right?
long, Robin.
We've worked together too long. So ooh, that's excellent. We're at the top of the hour. I'm happy to stay on just a couple more minutes, maybe answer a question or two more. But, you know, if you put a message or a question in the chat, we didn't get to it, you sent one earlier, we saw those. You'll be getting follow-ups from myself on all of your questions. Just want to let everyone know that we've not forgotten. We just have had a really good time with you all, and it's seemingly the hour went by very quickly.
And there was one question about timeline of dossier dropping. We don't like to put exact names out to things because the engineers are
Yeah.
amazing at solving complex problems, but probably in the next month or so.
Mhm.
So we're excited to have it out there.
Yeah.
But we are looking for people to kind of test it out and break things and tell us where it works, where it doesn't work. So if you
Mhm.
are interested, feel free to just say I want it in the chat, and I'll make a note of it, and we can
Yeah.
get it unlocked for your account now. And
Perfect.
it's kind of early days.
Yeah. So same thing. If you've got, you can email me, Robin at yourstake.org. Send me a note. However you need to contact us. We'll make note of it that you're interested in early access.
Yeah. So Alan,
Mhm.
to answer your question, yeah, feel free to. I put Robin's email in there, um, so
Thanks, Jack.
feel free to use that, or you can get in contact with us anyway. I'll be sending out a replay of this webinar and slides and all those great things probably tomorrow as well. So you can always reply to that email as well on jack@yourstake.org. I'm usually in a lot of your inboxes pretty often, so you can just reply to that too, and I'll send the message along.
Mhm. And just lastly here before we actually leave, Jack, can you remind us when the our friends at First Affirmative are having their webinar? That is
Yep. A week from today, next Wednesday, March 5th
next Wednesday,
at 1 o'clock. I put
one
the
o'clock
registration link in the
Eastern.
chat if you want to join us. I'll
Oh,
have people
excellent.
added it in there. So we'd love to have you there.
Perfect.
The first firm's doing
Perfect.
some amazing work, and it's just good to highlight that.
Yeah.
And thank you everyone for coming.
Yeah. Thanks, folks.